Well, there you are. Again, Charlie Greer Podcast. I do this every day. Today, so my CD is available now. I decided to sell some. So, before we do, please like, share, and subscribe. That's the best way you can support the channel. If you do want to support the channel, it's in the info's in the description for Cash App. My handle is Charlie Greer Podcast, and Zelle. It's my email. Let's do this. So, people have asked me, like, how can I get your music? Can I get your CDs? Well, yes, perhaps you can now. So, I'm selling these. You can get them now. My last CD, Charlie Greer, Turn Me On Dead Man, this, that, and the other thing. Um, so this is how this is going to go down. These are going to be $15. That's going to include shipping. It's a 6-song EP. I only pressed 1,000 of these. This is like rare. You can't get it anywhere else. So $15. That'll include shipping. That's in America. Now I was thinking if you are overseas, it's going to be 25 because I don't know how expensive it's going to be to. So how you're going to do it is if you want one of these, cash at me $15 and then email me your address. My email is in the description. So all you got to do is get on Cash App, boom, $15. Send me a note through Cash App like, hey, I'm the one that, I'm one of the poor individuals that want some of this 3-chord rock and roll of Charlie Greer, then I will send it out to you. It'll probably take like 7 to 10 days to get it to you. But yeah, again, Charlie Greer, Turn Me On Dead Man. People have been asking to get these. I've got a few of these left. I've got a box that's got some of these new ones. And I'll get into this. I'll explain the release here. 6 songs. This was released on my own vanity label, Rockstar 71 Records. And all the info in the back, it's outdated. I mean, the SKU number, you have to buy those SKUs. I own about 6, maybe. I mean, I don't use them anymore, but yeah, it's out of print. Besides, I'm the only one that has these. And again, $15. Cash at me $15. Email me your address. Boom, I'll send it in the mail to you. If you're overseas, it's got to be $25. I hate to, but it's like an import, and I don't want to end up because it's going to be expensive to send stuff over. It's going to be expensive to mail stuff in the U.S. It's like shit. What's up with the mail? So this release, I started working on this in 2006. Getting everything, writing the tunes, putting a band back together. Again, I had a revolving door policy in my band. It was hard to keep people in my band because they got opportunity. It's in LA. They can go. I've had people that I'm going to go on a cruise ship for a month and make a bunch of money. Fine, go. I get it. This was supposed to be always a solo. I've been solo. People come in the band like, oh, let's make it a band. But then, see, I was financing everything. The label, it cost a lot of money to have this made. Because the deal I made, I co-op with this company who printed 1,000 CDs. They actually gave me an extra 100 or something. And then on their end, they put me on 5,000. One of my singles was a Pity Now, I think it was. I was on a 5,000. My song was on a compilation that went to radio and college radio and this, that, and the other. And they also sent me displays for the CDs, whatever. But it kind of all fell through because before it even came out, because of the band situation. Again, it's hard to. I had some guys in my band, no hard feelings because these are good times and I get it. But anytime you get, they wanted to be like a band. They're like, I don't want to be in a solo band. Like, well, dude, that's what you join. You're in Charlie Greer's band. And then this is the thing. People at first oh my God, they kind of, you can't do no wrong. And then all of a sudden here they start showing themselves and they, they get around the goings on, meeting people that I know and this, that, then they get that big head. Again, we had good times. These guys were younger than me, but they wanted it to be a band. I said, hey, if it's going to be a band, then financially you have to chip in. I'm paying for the rehearsals. I'm paying for the pressing of this album, and this album cost me like at least $5,000 or more to press and get everything done, and this, that, and the other. And they're like, no, no, we just want to be a band, but they don't want to. See, that's why when I'm solo, they weren't going to have to pay for anything. I was financing everything. It's my release, you know. But if we're going to be a band, we're going to change the name back to my old band name. Then you guys have to step up because, and they didn't want to. I get it. Um, so they quit the band, and by then I was like, my God, you know. So I knew the album was coming out. It came out in, I think, April or March of 2008. See, this is kind of old. I've got and I did a 2-year cycle behind this, a run behind this album, meaning gigging for 2 years. And then after 2010, 2011, whatever it was, I started another cycle. I'd written other songs. I'd written like maybe an album, 2 albums worth of stuff. I was just done. I'd hit 40. Sinking all my money into, you know, playing here and there and this, that, and other thing. And I wanted to switch gears. So I haven't released it. Now, this is my last CD that I released. I retired basically from playing live. I've been playing live since I was like 15 to 40. What is that, 25 years? Enough, you know. And doing basically everything on my own, too. I'm kind of hard-headed like that. I'd already been through the ringer with Love Engineer, my old band. It's hard to get along with yourself, even let alone 3 or 4 other people. It's my solo thing. I've been doing it forever. How many releases did I release? I released on my own 3, maybe. Besides the Love Engineer CD, or maybe 4. I can't remember. Again, most of it's out of print. My Super Deluxe Rock and Roll EP is out of print. My country album's out of print. Love Engineer's definitely been out of print forever. The only things I have are these Charlie Greer, Turn Me On Dead Man. And Turn Me On Dead Man is from the Beatles, the White Album, Revolution number 9. You turn it backward. Turn me on, dead man. Turn me on, dead man. When you spin it backwards, it says, turn me on, dead man. Turn me on. And it also has to do with like the Paul is dead. Paul McCartney supposed to be died in 1966, was placed by a, you know, anywho's. I thought it was kind of cool. So I named the EP that. And I got some really good reviews on this. Again, it's a 6-song EP. The strange thing is, it's like, so there's no like plastic wrapped around here. Why? Is because this is the eco-friendly version. So everything's recycled. The cardboard sleeve, the inks, the plastic, the CD, that's plastic, that's recyclable. And it cost me more. I thought I was doing like the right thing. Like, yeah, I'll be green, the green deal, which is more expensive. I thought that'd be like, hey, hip, let me help out. What can I do, you know, to help out a bit? Never again. Because then it took longer to get, well, the recycled stuff and this, that, and the other. And the colors aren't as bright as I wanted them. Like, because they're recycled. I don't know how you recycle paint or color. Who knows? But they had a green deal. And I did it. It cost hundreds of dollars more. And they're not sealed. It's not like they're used. They're new. It's just that never again will I again, sometimes no good, you know, good deed goes unpunished. So yeah, again, the deal is cash at me $15, email me your address. I'll get it in the mail. You'll get it in like 7 to 10 days. If you're overseas, it's $25 because I know it's going to cost a war debt to mail this thing. I might not even make any money. But yeah, I've got some of these. And I thought that I would run into a label, like an independent label, that actually want to re-release some of my old albums. And that would get me my blood flowing and getting out, you know, starting a band again and start playing again. But man, it's just doing it on your own. Again, this is through my own vanity label, Rockstar 71 Records, which I started in like 99. And everything since then, I've released through that. Bought my own barcodes. I did my whole, you know, hire the graphic artists. And this was recorded like here and there and everywhere, man. Like I haven't been in a real studio since like the Love Engineer days. Or no, LaMotta. When I was in LaMotta, we were in the Hollywood Hills studio. But some of these basic tracks were recorded like literally in a punk garage in Orange County, some like studio. I forgot the guy's name. The bass player, his friend had it. We'd get there in the morning. They're already drinking beer and eating donuts, crazy punk rock me. So I think some of the basic tracks are recorded then. Then I brought it into my home studio. We had like, I forgot what we were recording on. I don't think it was Pro Tools, something, who knows. Finished it up. And yeah, they're catchy tunes. I mean, it's tough to release stuff and you're dealing with like my album before this. I was recording it with like ex-members. They're helping me out using their home studio. And then an accident happened. Again, there's no one to blame, but they wanted to upload a new version of the software we're recording on and somehow didn't save the file, whatever. So it deleted the whole album. We were almost done. So we had to record the Super Deluxe Rock and Roll EP, had to record twice. And luckily I had cassettes tape because there's a trick that I learned to warm it up. What you do is your digital. We hooked up this old boom box or tape deck in a blank cassette. Take the digital file, record it to the tape, so it warms it up a bit, fattens it up, bring it back into digital, then clean it up, and that way it gives you this like it's kind of like you're recording on analog. It's a trick that I forgot where I learned that. So I had a copy of that. Matter of fact, that's the copy that I had. I had a cassette of it, burned it digitally, and it was a 5-song EP. And that got really good reviews too. And, I sold out of that. I don't even know if I maybe got one copy left of that. And this one was, it's like pulling teeth. Again, you're here and there and everywhere. I didn't have any support. I didn't want to see when you sign with even a small label or something, it might be a licensing deal. It might be a co-op deal. It might be, you might sign something wrong. See, these, in any, if there's too many cooks in the kitchen, you're dealing with this, that, and the other. Can you trust people? They're nice. They usually come at you like, hey, you're friendly. Then you can't get a hold of them. And so I just rather do stuff on my own. It's harder. And the whole time I was a photo editor too. I was working and gigging and art shows. I told this story about I had a showcase at the Viper Room and for Capitol Records, and that week, like, see, people, I don't know, they self-destruct, they get nervous when it boils down to like some serious stuff, and then they quit the band. Here I am looking for, so I had to do a showcase because I was a 3-piece. I sang and played guitar, had a bass player and drummer, and I had a showcase at the Viper Room for I think it was Don Smith, who was working the Capitol. He's passed since it, but and I had to do it with guys I don't think I've ever played with the bass player. I just had to throw it together, and it showed. You know what I mean? Like and Don was like, "Oh man," he knew. He's like, "What's going on?" After the gig, I was like, "Well, I have this revolving door policy. Can't keep a band, And he liked my music. He liked it. He's like, "Oh, okay." And he's like, "Yeah, again, you live and learn. There's certain things you just got to let roll off your back. Sometimes everything matches up. Sometimes it's all stressful. My bass player quit. I had to find another one, and they knew about the showcase. It's like it's weird how some people. It's happened to me a few times before where they're fine, and then stress comes about because like, oh hey, we got to play the Viper, whatever, and then they just go, they get nervous and of course they're just a hired hand, like a battery. They can be replaced. So, again, no hard feelings, man. I had a good time, and I get it. It is tough to keep a band together, especially in Los Angeles, when there's just opportunities, especially for bass players and drummers. See, they just will take the big, I get it. I totally get it. Matter of fact, I take my hat off. Hey, you got there's people that have been in my band that have went on to do a lot bigger things because they're just a drummer or a side guy or, I never wanted to do that. I tried in the 90s to audition for other bands. I wanted to make some money and maybe join a bigger band and tour, see the world. But yeah, so as a solo artist, you got to do it all your own. Pardon me, you got to buckle down and, you're the captain of the ship, and decisions have to be made. Because at the end of the day, I just wanted to get my music out and play. Um, and through this process of recording this album, I can't tell you how many people I went through, drummers and bass players. And by the time this came out, well, I was on to another band. I had another, but in fact, I think this is the most, I went through a lot of people on this tour cycle. I wasn't touring, but in LA, you can play, Hollywood, San Gabriel Valley, the San Fernando Valley, Orange County, Riverside. It's like you're touring. You're not, but you're playing all over the place. Um, my favorite place to play in LA was in Highland Park, Mr. T's Bowl. Loved that place. It always gave me my own night. I love Mr. T and his wife. And I just like the funkiness of it. There's an old bowling alley, and it's a hipster place. Like Tom Petty did a secret gig there. So did Bob Dylan. And I like Highland Park. At the time, I lived in Highland Park. When this was going on, I lived in Highland Park. In the Hole, it's called, off of Figueroa, across from the library, down in the Hole. And I had a house, this old funky old house. And then we rehearsed at AMP in North Hollywood on Lancashire. That's my favorite place in LA to rehearse. I was doing that for years. Kind of pricey for the bigger room. Anyway, but you see, rock stars use it. I mean, why not? Shit. It's a nice facility right there on Lancashire, in the heart of everything in North Hollywood. You can walk to this, that, and the other thing. A lot of good times. A lot of great times with this. Again, I don't hold any grudges or any of the, you know what I'm saying? Like a lot of people, I'm not like that. It's just rock and roll, and especially if you are one of these people that a drummer, good bass player, you're just looking for the best opportunity. Well, of course that's what you're going to do. I get it. Just go do your thing. Don't, some people were cool about it. Like, oh, thank you so much, Charlie. Cause there was times where I wanted to rehearse a lot because you're playing in LA. A lot of people are going to see you. Last thing you want is to be half-assed. You want to be a well-oiled machine. So we might do once or twice a week for 4 to 8 weeks to rehearse and to, then get the gigs going, And I've done that with band members, and then they're like, oh yeah, I joined someone else's band, or I'm doing a cruise ship or whatever. And then I've just spent 6 to 8, whatever, 4 weeks rehearsing with these people. Then you got to start all over, get another drummer or bass player or both, And at that point, I'd been through so much. It's like, okay, fine, I get it. So you have to start all over, get other band, get them going, And I mean, it is what it is. It's just if I was making money, if I had a record contract, well, of course it would be easier, but I didn't. And I had a reputation that, like, he's hard to deal with, because I didn't want to be signing over everything. I didn't want to sign over. You understand, when you sign especially a major label, sometimes it's a 360 deal. Like, you literally sign over your publishing, your everything, your merchandise, all that. They'll make you popular. You'll get known if you're lucky. But you make your money live. If you're lucky, you can keep your merchandise or some of your publishing. But I wanted to always keep, like, I was ready to do it though. With that showcase with Don Smith from Capitol, I was like, dude, I'm done. I at least need one like solo album under my belt on a major label. If Don would have, again, he liked the band. He liked the songs, and the people around him did too. I knew the people that were, and it just so happened he picked a wrong night. You would think the Viper Room. He's like, oh, I'll come to the Viper Room. That should be a good gig, which it should have been. But then it's like, oh, my band quit and all this stuff. And then, matter of fact, I'm not gonna get into it. The girl I was dating, we split up. Like, you would think that, because a lot was going on. You'd think people could hold it together, but that's another again, too many cooks in the kitchen. Even at a major label, you might get signed and you might have a department like your A&R guy, and then you got your promotion people and this, that, and the other. And then they'll just another head of the label comes in, gets rid of that whole department, and then you're stuck. You got new people to deal with. That happens a lot. The person that signed you is gone. Now the replacement doesn't like your music, but by contract they have to release it. So they don't promote it as much. That's a thing. You have to get prepared for that. You're very fortunate if you get to stick with the same people. It's rock and roll. I mean, that's what it is. It's a business, and it's full of you don't want to know. But again, Cash App, $15. Email me the email's in the description, my email, your address, and then I'll get this in the mail to you. That's in the US. If you're in the US, 15. If you're overseas, which I doubt anybody overseas will probably want to, it's 25, because I know it's going to be expensive to mail, especially with all what's going on in the world. It's a 6-song EP. Oh, I'll sign it too. I'll sign these for you. You'll get a signed copy. And if there's any other things I can find, maybe I can find like some old flyers or whatever. If not, you're just going to get the CD. That's it. I think I'm out of stickers and handbills. I used to have a lot of that kind of stuff. I'll look around, but definitely, again, Cash App, $15. Email your address, and then you'll get a CD. Bam, done. Limited edition. There was only 1,000 of them. Again, I'll sign it, and let me know. And also send me a message through Cash App saying, "Hey, I'm the one that But people have been asking for them, so hey, there you go. I wasn't going to do it, but I'm like, you know what? I'll do it. Why not? And again, please like, share, and subscribe. That's the best way to support the channel. Just tell somebody, retweet it or something, share it on Instagram. Who knows? And if you do want to support the channel, the information for my Cash App is in the description. It's Charlie Greer. That's my handle, charliegreerpodcast for Cash App. Zelle, it's my email. All that's in the description. Again, hit me with Cash App, $15. Email your address. I'll get it out as the day I get it, whatever. I'll go to my post office or UPS, wherever we go. And you'll get a copy of the CD. And yeah. Hopefully, people will want it. Now you can get it. But yeah, man, I do this every day. So I'll be back tomorrow. I love y'all. Be blessed. Cheers.